How can you one wide receiver screens effectively? Do you have to hot route blockers?
All right, so we actually just showed, this show is, we're mostly right now we're going on Xbox 360. These tips will work on Xbox One and PS4, but we're basically running them on Xbox 360. We'll note if they won't work. So we just showed a nice tip from single back wide trips, which will be on the archive tomorrow on YouTube, but we'll actually show you another tip here on wide receiver screens for Jay Petra, who just turned in for his question.
Right, so a great way to run wide receiver screens in Madden 25 on Xbox 360 and on next generation systems. You kind of got to figure out, is your opponent running man or are they running zone? So one good way, and one thing I've seen a lot of people do to me actually this year, is they come out in a 5-wide set, and because I play so much zone coverage, I leave myself wide open to these 5-wide empty wide receiver screens. There's really no adjustments needed. It's just I play a lot of heavy blitzing defenses, and if you play a blitzing defense, you're going to leave the wide receiver screen wide open. So that's the number one adjustment, I guess, if you're going to call it, that you have to make this wide receiver screen effective, is if you have to recognize, are they playing man-to-man or are they playing zone coverage?
You got to call it at the right time, you know.
Right. So if you're noticing, oh, they're playing a ton of zone coverage and they're blitzing, it's so effective that it's kind of a shame that we don't, as a community, don't use it enough. It's so effective. It reminds me of Madden 09 and how effective wide receiver screens were back then. But the problem is why people don't use it as much is because if you face 2-man under, it immediately becomes one of the worst plays in the game.
Right. Watch what Hayden did at the snap of the ball. And if you remember on Twim 101, I know S. Gibbs will never forget, the last play before the half, he threw a wide receiver screen. I was in 2-man under, and then they were able to throw the ball. I was able to pick it off for a TD. So, as you can see here with 2-man under, what Hayden wants to do in 2-man under is get behind Anquan Bolden. I know that doesn't make sense. Well, if he's covering him, why would we want to be behind him?
Trail.
Because he wants to get trail technique because he has safety help over the top. So he's trying to get there. Yes, he gets blocked, but, I mean, that's not a throw you want to make if you're not just showing that
And then if you get that gather animation there, you're in trouble. Go back to that man-to-man for me. Now, obviously, one good thing about this is it has a nice corner route built in, so that's a perk, but here's the problem with that, right? If I wait on that corner route, it's going to be a tough position for me to make that throw. And I'll tell you this, on next gen, you have way less time in the pocket because those defensive linemen, they crash in on you so hard on screens where they fight through the blockers and they get after the quarterback. So you have to get the ball out quick. And you just don't want to – it's not good against 2-man under, and even against like a cover 2. So if you audible to a cover 2 zone here, it's just really not a good option. So here's the cover 2 zone.
It's going to be a flat zone down.
The flat zone just muddies it. Like
just sits there.
It's right. And I'll say this. You got a chance to potentially block him, but you also have a chance of bad things happening. Here, cover 3, I'll take my odds against this. See, he got destroyed, and I'm gone, but it's still a scary throw there. Right. And the number one adjustment we always say, if you're facing a wide receiver screen or a halfback screen, what do we tell you to do? Put a flat over there because it just muddies it makes it congested in that area. You want more defenders in that area. Number one, takes blockers up, and yes, I just beast moded it.
But yes, I also beast moded.
Right. So if you want to have success running wide receiver screens, the most important thing you can do is run it against a person that plays heavy zone blitzing defense. So show me that zone blitzing defense one more time, Farls. And the snap of the ball. You see how there's no one over there. There's no one over there. There's nobody. I mean, that's Anquan Bolden, and I'm getting a 20-yard gain. And this is going to be consistent every time against the zone blitz. Every time. Because the zone blitz, it can defend a lot of areas of the field, but it struggles immensely at defending the flat.
Right. So here's basically the biggest tip is just get, if they call 2-man under, like Gibbs said, you got to throw to this corner route or look to the drag, but you also got to be well aware that this on the right side of the screen, the guys are pulling, so they're not going to be there for you to block very long. So you need to be ready to get rid of it. So basically, how you would stop that is, you call 2-man under, you'd send it left, you'd want to shade Baldwin over the middle, and then look to stop it. But
a quick pro tip here to open that screen up for you, I personally think, is if you start throwing a lot of outs. Or if you have the play stick and nod from this formation, which is absolutely a man destroyer, you start throwing a lot of outs from this formation and they're not shading and you just start crushing them on the outside, that's going to open up and make your opponent probably start playing a little more zone, and they're going to go down like a cover 2 sink, they're going to play a little cover 3, so it's going to open the screen up for you, so you kind of set the screen up by beating the man-to-man consistently, and then they're going to check down to zone. And it's also a fabulous play call against cover 4 zone. Fabulous play call.
Yep, because they don't have any flats out there. All right, so that's how you run the screen. It's got to be the right play. And something that I've been noticing people do is just with the new hot route where you can actually just smoke route. I know Problem broke it down a bunch in his pistol offensive guide, which is in the winner's kit. So I won't go too much in depth with it. But hey, if you're playing cover 3 and you're just dropping guys back and you're calling heavy blitzes, hit them. I mean, you're going to get 5 yards, 7 yards, but you got to make them respect you. You know what I mean?